Mark Lawrenson, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Another pretty interesting weekend of Premier League football and lots for us to get our teeth stuck into. Why do Manchester United need Cristiano Ronaldo?
Good question. I wasn't expecting to hit me with that one. Well, I think because it's such a long season, and I think it gives them so many options. And it's not just, when in terms of Ronaldo with playing, etc. I think just the way he looks after himself, the way he looks after his body, the way he trains. And I think, obviously Greenwood scored the goal again yesterday, but, players of his ilk will look up certainly to Ronaldo, see what he does, see how he prepares, etc. And if he brings them all on another 5 or 10%, then it becomes a really good signing.
Is there a world in which it doesn't work out, where actually Greenwood comes out of the team or Sancho has to come out of the team, and there's a little bit of upset around that, and the real problem seems to be central midfield still for them?
Yeah, I don't really get this two holding midfield players Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes to play with generally. I don't think they need it. Well, of course there can always be problems, but I think one thing Ronaldo is it's all about him, which is absolutely fine, and he'll want it to be good. So I think he will give it his absolute 100% best shot, call it what you will, to make sure that it is. And they've just got so many options now. They've got so many different ways to win games. But as well as they've done so far, obviously played 3-1-3. You're right. There's just something not quite right. But look, 3 games, 35 more to go, and they've won the 3. So, you kind of charge on if you're Manchester United. And if that's a problem, well, hopefully you get loads of problems like that. Play 3, win 3.
They had the draw with Southampton, didn't they?
Oh, sorry, they did. Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
I
was thinking they came back to win.
I'm wondering about that first penalty. Like, Bruno apparently is involved in getting Cristiano to come to the club. We see what happened at Everton. We see players do not like giving up penalties. We see everybody wants to stick the ball in the back of the net. Like, does Bruno just go, "Oh, Cristiano, here you go. It's fine. You take it"?
I think Cristiano will get it. I think, well, we know that Bruno obviously was the main cheerleader to get Ronaldo back to Manchester United. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably step aside. And also, I think if, with Ronaldo, and if in his first game they get a penalty, I think you'd want him to score, wouldn't you? You want him to get on the score sheet. So, and it looks like that Bruno kind of idolises Ronaldo. So I don't see there being a major issue with that. I think he'll just grab the ball and stick it in the back of the net.
There does seem to be a consensus, Mark, at this point that Ronaldo is going to be the central striker for Manchester United. Is there a chance that that's not the case at all, that there is a different position for him?
I don't see a different position for him, no. Okay. I think see him playing right through the middle. I don't see him having to chase people, defenders coming out the ball, all those kind of things. I think it'll just be you stay up there and we will get the ball to you, because his movement's still very, very good. And, he's got so fabulous experience, etc. So no, I just think it's one of those, you remember Sean Goater playing for Manchester City and it was feed the goat? I mean, obviously, but it's that kind of thing. It will be feed the goat, get the ball to him, and he'll score for you. Look, I don't think he's going to play every single game, and I think he maybe miss quite a few. But if he starts and all of a sudden, he looks like he's still got everything, because we're never quite sure with it being the Premier League, because it's obviously a notch up from the Italian league for me. His movement might not be good enough, but I suggest in the penalty area his movement will be good enough. I think that will be the key.
So how are you lining up if you're a Solskjaer then, Mark? Because he's done a couple of weird things already, with moving Greenwood out of the 9 last week and then playing Sancho on the left yesterday, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming.
Yeah, I think that's, you know what I think, that is, that's a classic case of having too many players. But what happens over the course of the season, I do think that sorts itself out. I mean, I would just leave Ronaldo up front. So you may be playing, 4-2-3-1. I don't know, 4-1-4-1. How about that? So I don't get the two holding midfield players, and I think if you play 4-1-4-1, and you said to Pogba, basically, if you're one of the middle two of that four, you say to Pogba, you go and play, and just give him a free role. I think that's excuse me, that's the other key as well. Would be Pogba doesn't play with restrictions. He doesn't really get it. Pogba just reminds me of, say, when you were at school and you're 11 or 12 and you had your team and stuff, but there was always one player who was really, really outstanding. And because of your age and your lack of experience, as that player, you'd just be going everywhere and getting the ball and making things happen and all those kind of things. I know it's a slightly strange analogy, but that's how I would play Pogba. I'd just say, Paul, just go out there and destroy the opposition basically and do what you're good at.
What about Varane at the weekend? We were waiting to see what kind of an impact he would have on this United side. Certainly, it's a Rolls-Royce addition to the team, and if he plays every minute of the rest of the Premier League season, then their defence will be very, very strong over the rest of the year. Just how quickly do you expect him to settle in? Is it straight away with somebody that quality?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, if you think about defending, it comes to you. You don't have to go and search for it. And he'll just sit in his position and do what he does. I mean, there is a rumour going around about Varane that his knees aren't the best. And he's missed quite a few games in La Liga. But I don't see him having a problem. The other thing as well is with Manchester United, generally, as we say, if we call them the four top teams, more often than not, you're on the front foot. You're going forward all the time, and you're not under too much pressure. Obviously, that's a generalisation, but that's really how it would work for me, certainly.
He is very good. That's the other thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. And it's like signing for Manchester United. Is it bigger than signing for Real Madrid? You'd argue that the time he signed for Real Madrid, no. So, he'd have gone to Madrid and knew he was under massive pressure to perform. And I think he'll probably find Manchester United a little bit easier from that point of view.
The transfer window as a whole has been largely positive for Manchester United. Obviously, there is the one glaring omission of not signing a new central midfielder, but is it now a squad that Solskjaer must win something with this season?
Yeah, absolutely. This is it. This is his ticket. So, he does have to come up trumps with the trophy. They're going to have a chance of winning the league, as are the other three, so which is going to be fantastic for everybody involved in that in terms of the Premier League. But yeah, he knows. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. This.
Let's talk a little bit about Liverpool and Chelsea then. Really brilliant performance from Chelsea to get out of that.
Yeah.
And you could see the celebrations that the team had afterwards on the pitch. Very ostentatious. Very, we are together. We're in this. And I don't know if that matters or not, but they certainly seem to think that coming away from the injustice as they saw it with a point is one of those kind of significant moments during a season. Are they right?
Yeah, well, I think, what did they say? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all those kind of things. And they were very, very good. I thought that, overall, they were better than Liverpool on the day. I mean, Liverpool didn't play badly, but I just thought Chelsea were very, very good. I think I was there. I mean, it was definitely a penalty because, the thing about coming off one part of your body, but he moved his arm. He absolutely moved his arm towards the ball. So it had to be a pen, and the ref got there eventually to make the right decision, but maybe not in the right way. But no, they were good. They were very, very good, and we kind of thought maybe, Marcus Alonso, maybe Trent would cause him lots and lots of problems. But he did really well, and he did really well when he just had to play as a left back. So you're always looking for kind of the weakest link in a team that looks very, very good and very, very organised. But no, they'll be delighted with that, and we'll just see how the season unfolds. But they look very, very strong. They look like a team really that for 38 league games are going to be very, very difficult to beat. So remain to see, and of course it'll obviously depend on injuries. And I thought Lukaku did well as well at the weekend, considering that his service wasn't brilliant, but what you'll get from him is you've got to play against him. Is that the two centre backs will always be really, really wary because he's such an important player, and he gets them up the pitch as well, which is something they've not had. I mean, this is kind of, we've talked about this quite a lot, don't we? Keep going about Grealish getting his team, Manchester City, up the pitch and stuff. But Lukaku enables you to play in your opponent's half, which is a big thing.
And they literally can do anything because they have so many different types of players that they can play whatever way they need to. Like it was clear when the few moments that they did have possession in the second half that they were smart enough to be able to use it and keep it and still create chances even though they were down to 10 men. It would have been kind of injustice if they had won the game, but there's real quality throughout that side that seems sustainable.
Yeah, well, I know they kept it really well in their own half, which is a sign of ability, but also a sign of confidence as well. So and they weren't just trying to wang it up to Lukaku at all. So no, they're a good side, and I think the likes of the Havertz and the Werners and those kind of guys, they are not under as much pressure now because of Lukaku. Everything it's Romelu this and Romelu that, and those lads under the radar a little bit, I think will be starting to find the confidence, and I think you might find from the two of the guys that they're going to have really, really good seasons because the pressure is very much off. The spotlight is very much on Lukaku.
Having had a few games to assess the situation, Mark, do we think that Van Dijk is going to be back to his old self? Because that was obviously the big concern before he did return to play.
Yeah, game's easy to him. It was like Hansen when Hansen played. It was just too easy. Never got his kit dirty. It was like, what's your problem? You come off covered in blood and snot and everything, and he just walk off and basically give his kit to the kit man. Said he won't need to wash that this week. And that's everyone keeps going on about him. That's the closest person that I can think of that's comparable. And he had, I can't remember which game it was. He went in for a tackle. I don't know if it was Norwich or the first home game, and he limped, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. But then he was absolutely fine because when you have an injury like that, what you want is to go into a tackle where you think, oh, I might get hurt here, and then come out absolutely totally clear. And that's what he did. I mean, he's a Rolls Royce of a centre back, and he has such a fantastic effect on Matip. Matip's a much better player playing with him, as you would do. But the thing about Joe Matip when he plays with Van Dijk is he comes out and plays. He comes out and joins into midfield and commits, members of the opposition, which is really, really good. I don't think particularly Matip likes football. I don't think he really enjoys it, but he's just something that he's really good at. But he's really, really good when he's got Van Dijk alongside him.
It does seem that Matip is also the type of guy who could give his kit back to the kit man pretty clean.
Yeah, little bit. So, but which is good because if you're in that position and you're on your feet all the time and you're not sliding in and if you miss the ball you're kind of prone on the floor and you've got to get up and chase somebody. It's always much better. Ronnie Moran, God rest his soul, used to say to Hansen and myself and just say, he goes, stay in your armchairs, and basically don't get pulled out of position, which is the key, really, playing there. But if you're playing with two, especially.
One of the big stories coming out of Liverpool now over the last couple of days, actually this morning, David Ornstein reporting that Michael Edwards is expected to step down as Liverpool sporting director at the end of this season.
Wow.
From your knowledge, he's saying it's reports and maybe it doesn't happen, but Ornstein is usually bang on the money with his sources. From your knowledge of the club, just how, obviously he's the man who gets the credit for the incredible signings they've made down through the years, is that credit deserved, and as a result, how big of a loss is it?
We're massive. I think he's been outstanding, and I always say, come on programs like these and just say, look, the two most important positions at a football club are the manager and head of recruitment, because if you don't get recruitment right at this level, you struggle. I mean, and struggle is obviously relative. It means you don't win anything basically. But look at Barcelona, in terms of their recruitment. I mean, it's been hopeless, and see the mess that they've been in, and Madrid as well, Real Madrid to a certain degree. So no, it would be a big blow, but I'll be surprised that Liverpool don't do anything about it, because they realise how important this is, and Klopp certainly does. And if you've got somebody, I presume it probably works a bit like this. He'll have quite a few people working for him, obviously, Michael Edwards, but his contacts will be brilliant. But if suddenly Klopp says, look, I don't know, just for instance, like Matip's struggling a little bit, we need another central defender, and you would hope, if you're Michael Edwards, you say, right, well, I'll tell you what, there's these 4 people, wherever they're playing, and this is what they're going to cost, and eventually, the manager has to make the decision. But it's instead of the manager having to watch like loads and loads of DVDs and all that kind of stuff, watching these players all the time. If you absolutely totally trust your head of recruitment, and he's saying to you, go and sign this guy, then I think you go and sign him, because it makes your job easier, doesn't it? So, it would be a big loss if he goes.
Is Harvey Elliott just in the team now? Is that what we're just to expect for the rest of the season? Because he started quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I did last Saturday's game, the home game with Liverpool, and we were looking forward, obviously, to the Chelsea game, and I just thought maybe he would have left him out for Chelsea. So it's a kind of massive pat on the back for him. I think it'll be the classic young player, which will be come in, play a few games, probably get left out for a few games, and then you come back. And I've always been a massive advocate of if you're not in the team and you're not on the bench, sit in the stand, right? Get a high vantage point and watch somebody who plays in your position, and just see what they do. I don't think you can ever learn enough. You can never really take on enough information when you as young as Harvey Elliott is, just to see what else you do as a player. And I want to say what else, like without the ball, so there's no doubt he's extremely gifted, and he sees a pass and he can go past people. And, I saw him at Blackburn a few times last year, and he was head and shoulders, apart from Armstrong, the best player that Blackburn had. Armstrong, of course, has gone to Southampton. So, but you do, even as an old pro, sometimes you miss a couple of games, and you sit and watch, and you just watch somebody play in your position. You can always learn, and I think that's what he'll probably have to do. But he'll be a bit in and out for a while, because as well, they come in and everything's fab and it works for them, and then suddenly they play in a game where the touch is off a little bit, the passing isn't particularly good, and the manager might think, probably leave him out for the next couple and then bring him back in, and that's what he needs to do.
A quick word about City and Arsenal. How much do we learn about either of these two teams that we didn't already know? Is
nothing? Absolutely nothing. City will be like this. They'll crush teams, as we know. And, well, I mean, Arsenal, how long's the programme? Where do you start? I mean, completely lost their identity. And I think with Arteta, obviously, he spent a lot of money in the transfer window. So he's got to now, the next few games, he's just got to put out what he thinks is his best team and start winning matches. I don't think he's under pressure straight away where he's going to be find out the job or anything. But I would imagine if you were the owner, if you're a Conqueror and you're looking at that, and somebody speaking to him and advising him, is probably after 10 games, probably, when you're at 25% of the season through, I think then you take a decision. You take a decision, you think, well, you know what? It's starting to improve. You sign these players, they're settling in, we're starting to win some games, and let's go with it. But if he's still struggling, I think then you have to make a decision, do we stick with him or do we let him go? It's
Norwich at home for them this Saturday, so I mean the nature of that fixture probably makes it a must-win, Mark. But sorry, go on. Sorry
to interrupt. Because I just want to make the point. I'm not sure about the dressing room. I'm just not sure, and I'm Aubameyang, Lacazette, very, very good players. Do you pat them on the back and they run out and you think, oh yeah, they will absolutely do it for me, or do you think, what performance am I going to get this week? And I think that's a little bit Arsenal. So The dressing room is absolutely massive, and it's really, really difficult for managers if you just get one or two are what I would describe as iffy, which is, you know, would they give you 100% every single week? I'm not sure about that.
What do you do in the next 3 days? Do you try desperately to get rid of those players then? And like, although Aubameyang might score goals that will win you games, if he's stinking the joint out and bringing everybody, if he's a maybe not him, but if, you know, let's depersonalize this. But if somebody's a black hole in your dressing room of negativity, do you like take whatever loss and just get rid?
No, I think you probably have to keep him, especially with the fact that, you know, it's so close to the end of the transfer window. Look, you might have to kind of cast him off a little bit. You might decide, look, I'm going to make this decision, which is you're not in the first team squad, and he'll have to go and play with the stiffs and, you know, the reserves or whatever, or deal with it that way. But because if you cannot get the dressing room, I mean, look at. You can imagine Chelsea's dressing room. You described it at the top of the piece here, which was, you know, and they celebrated and everything like that. Imagine, and Arsenal's is completely different. And Tuchel knows that everybody is pulling the same way as he is, and the coaching staff. Arteta knows that not everybody is doing that at Arsenal, and that's going to be his biggest problem. But sometimes you just have to make a decision, because with Arteta, if he doesn't, he'll lose his job. It's as simple as that. So he has to make a decision, and it'll be interesting to see what they do, definitely. But yeah, you'd want Norwich at home. Obviously, it's a little bit of a gimme, so before all the Norwich supporters start ringing up and complaining, but because they're obviously going to struggle and get relegated. 18
months since they won a Premier League game. Obviously, they were in the Championship for a year of that. But yeah, and it was against Leicester was the last time that they won one of those games. So look, it is your get right fixture, all right. But the fact that Antonio Conte is out there is the other thing that maybe shortens the amount of time that Arteta has. If Conte is interested, he's a world-class manager. He could change the culture in the club pretty quickly. And if you're the owners, you're thinking, I've got this guy who's promising as my manager at the moment, but he's inexperienced, and I've got this other guy here who's won the league everywhere he's gone, even with teams who were up against it. So you can see that maybe that 10 games isn't quite actually the runway that he has.
Yeah, possibly. But I get the impression with the owner that he leaves everybody else to get on with it. He's never at games, is he? But he's obviously sanctioned the money in terms of the players that they buy. I just think it is a little bit too early. I mean, we've all done, you know, who's going to be in the top four, and I don't know anybody who's put Arsenal in the top four anyway.
No.
When was the last time that they're in the Champions League? I mean, that's the holy grail for them, isn't it? And if you're an owner, you want to be in the Champions League because of the dough, you know, the whole thing with the ESL and everything like that kind of thing. But I get the impression that the Kroenke is kind of, no, let's just stick with him and let's see in which direction this goes. And yeah, I get the Conte thing, but Conte'll probably still be there after Arsenal played 10 league games, won't he? As in, he'll still be around. I don't think he'll be going anywhere else.
Yeah, maybe, unless somebody else acts quickly. I've time for one last question. Spurs and Nuno, it's a brilliant start for them. It's completely changed the mood music around the club from the devastation that they had in the summer, and they didn't seem like they were being particularly well run. Now all of a sudden they're top of the table after 3 games. So let's wait and see. But it is as good a start as Nuno could have wanted for. Is he actually a very good manager who is about to reveal himself as?
No, I think he is. I think he is a good manager. I think he did a really good job at Wolves. And you might say, oh yeah, but you know, he was really good backing. Well, you know, all these top managers, they all have really good backing. So, you know, I think I like the way that he does it. I saw a fabulous interview with him. You know, it was, I don't know, probably 18 months ago, and somebody asked him a question. You know, you don't get many goalkeepers who are ex-goalkeepers who are managers. And he said, it's really, really strange that. He said, because really, you should have loads of them. And the journalist said, well, why? He says, because you spend most of the time watching the team play. and watching all the different positions in front of you if you're not obviously getting battered by a team. And he said, so I had lots and lots of time just to kind of stand there, concentrate, looking at the way my team's playing, but also starting to understand how football works. So I think he's good. I don't see Tottenham finishing in the top 4 though, because it's Tottenham, and it's kind of this little bit same old. I'm not convinced about them as well, the goalkeeper and the back 4 yet. So I think they'll just miss out. But if he finishes 5th, I think he's done a good job. All
right, Mark, great to have you with us. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
That's Mark Lawrenson giving us some thoughts about the Premier League weekend on a Monday morning, where there is actually plenty for us to get our teeth stuck into. We'll do it